The man looks ready. If that's not a guy ready for a podcast, I don't know what is.
Feel so ready.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Post. I am your host, The Rod from 106.1 KISS FM, here with my BFF, my tag team partner in podcasting, my co-host, Mr. Jerry Valeri. Good morning, Jerry.
Hey, buddy.
So it's Thursday. This is our normal time slot, although I feel like our second podcast of the week never has a quote-unquote normal time slot. And it does feel weird to be reviewing Monday's Raw this late in the week, but we've got to get to that and SmackDown this week.
And I heard from a lot of people, and I know you saw some of them online, but just offline I heard from people. They really enjoyed the departure from the recap just to cover news stories, and that's what we'll do, you know?
Yeah, I feel like the point of the podcast is to cover the biggest stories in wrestling. Oftentimes, you know, when there's so much content, it's the TV shows and what happens on TV. This week was not that case. This week it was Kurt Angle in the Hall of Fame. It was the Superfly. It was the UK tournament. There was just so much going on this week that we just couldn't.
I can't believe I missed the Kurt Angle thing, and I went back and rewatched Raw the right way, and so like I got a little trigger happy with the fast forward is what happened.
It happens, man. There's so much wrestling to watch. I understand.
But again, you know, I'll just go ahead before we even review anything, and I'll say that I liked both shows, but again, I give the nod to SmackDown Live.
I didn't love either show, and I would give it to Raw.
Okay.
I've got reasons as for why. SmackDown did some good things, like Raw. Everything that SmackDown did, Raw had something I feel like to kind of match that. Plus, you know, Raw had Lesnar, although I didn't think the Lesnar appearance was all that exciting. It was there, but there was a segment I was very proud of on Monday's Raw, and there was one on SmackDown I was very proud of as well. But a Raw one really left me smiling.
Okay.
You want me to tell you which ones?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. Well, SmackDown had a great promo, and this has been a theme for them. Especially with these two guys, AJ Styles and John Cena have this great chemistry. Something in AJ Styles has clicked, and he's doing amazing mic work. I'm excited for this feud. They have a history of great matches, in my opinion. I loved that promo. I think it was the opening segment of SmackDown.
Yeah, when Shane McMahon makes the Elimination Chamber announcement.
Yeah, which I don't care much about because, first of all, it's not the next pay-per-view. I don't mind looking ahead. I think that's fine. The Elimination Chamber is just a gimmick that never spoke to me.
It's okay. It's more fun to play in the video game than to watch.
I don't play the video games, but I'm sure that's probably true.
Yeah.
But as great as that was, and I don't want to take away from those guys because they did great work and deserve a lot of praise, I was so proud of, and I was explaining it to a friend who, it was my friend Brett, who we bring up every podcast for some reason, just loathes women wrestlers, hates women's wrestling in general. I was explaining to him it's at a high point right now. He doesn't care. He doesn't agree. But Charlotte's promo on Bayley, I want to talk about because it was outstanding in a lot of ways, and I want to tell you why. This was so old school in the right way, and here's what I mean by this. So while you could watch it and not feel anything, which I guess happened to Brett, could have happened to anybody watching this podcast, could have happened to my tag team partner Jerry, and just didn't think it was anything special. I want to tell you why it was special. If you look at the way Charlotte did what she did and the points that she chose to bring out, it made Charlotte a significantly stronger heel. It made Bayley a significantly stronger face, and it made their feud that much deeper. And I'm going to continue by saying that Bayley's thing is that she is one of the audience. She's not above them. She's one of them. She's relatable. And they found all these things about Bayley's past, which happened to be true. The poems, the wrestling worship, the hero worship of the wrestlers, the way she idolized them, old pictures of her, I think, with John Cena. Do you know how much the audience could relate to that?
Yeah.
and then Charlotte pissed all over it. And it was well done, it was well articulated, and it was done in a way, like usually on a good promo, a heel can get themselves heat or can get the babyface heat, but not both. And she was so productive in that promo of making Bayley stronger and her stronger and their feud stronger. I just stood back and I was like, that was awesome.
You're absolutely right. If you think about it psychologically, the whole crowd's like, well, I love these wrestlers. I'd like a picture with John Cena. You know, Bayley's one of us. And Charlotte's like, yeah, she's one of you. And I look down on you.
Exactly.
I look down on all of you.
She's not special. She's one of you commoners. That was just, it was the perfect way to build her and build Charlotte in one swoop. Like, that's perfect.
We've said it a million times. When it comes to feuds, I don't look at who's winning the matches. It's who comes out looking better. A good feud, they both come out better than when they entered it.
Sure.
That's what it is. And that might work for these two. Charlotte needed somebody other than Sasha. And Bayley needs this.
Yeah, and not only that, for the people who didn't watch Bayley in NXT and don't get her, it was a Bayley 101. It was a Bayley primer on exactly who she is and exactly who Charlotte is. Like, it was just perfect. She couldn't have done a better job, you know? So I was just really proud of them, you know, and I've never been like, you know, with the women's wrestling is what it is. It's at a great point right now, but this was just perfect to accomplish. You couldn't have given Charlotte bullet points and have had anyone pulled that off better.
Yeah, I thought it was really good too. I didn't look at it the way that you did, though, and I'm glad you pointed that out. That's a great point that you made.
So that's the way I felt about that. That was my favorite segment that happened this week on TV. Other things you know, while we're talking about women's wrestling, I actually found the Nia Jax attack on Sasha Banks very fresh. I like the uniqueness of it happening kind of pre-recorded but it wasn't like, usually those things happen in the ring, they happen in the back, and this found a way to be like a backstage attack, but different. It looked different. And I feel like it could lead to an empty arena match, which I actually go crazy over. I like those.
I don't remember empty arena matches.
Probably one of my top 20 favorite matches is an empty arena match. I need to show you at some point Jerry Lawler and Terry Funk. I believe it's 1981 in Memphis. You would love it. I know the kind of wrestling you like. You would love it.
Well, I like it for two reasons. Like, I love Terry Funk, but I'd love anything that would make me interested in Jerry Lawler again.
It's not like Lawler doesn't do technical chain wrestling, catch as catch can kind of stuff. It's all story. It's all gore, and it's dirty, and it's awesome. And have you never seen Mick Foley and The Rock at halftime heat at Super Bowl 99?
No, I did. Yeah.
That's an empty arena match that I like a lot.
Oh, okay. I forgot. Okay. Yeah, I guess I did.
Yeah. So while there's not many of them, I usually enjoy them, and seeing them in a pretty much empty arena, I thought, you know, maybe there's something there.
That's good. I think that's great.
So there was that. There was something on.
I want to talk about Lawler all of a sudden, but I don't want to jump shows on you.
No, jump shows. Let's do it.
Did you like it? Why don't I like Jerry Lawler anymore? Why don't I?
I didn't love it. It wasn't. I don't know. I don't know why. I felt like it should have. It came out hot, and what I mean by that is they started angry at each other, and I feel like they should have built towards hostility. Like, why did they come out so hot?
Lawler doesn't know how to do it anymore. He doesn't know how to be subtle. And Ziggler's like cranked to 11 at this point. Like, I like what Ziggler's doing. I think this is a good way to get people engaged in him again. They keep trying it, but I don't know. I used to like Jerry Lawler. I can't stand when he's on television. I just want to turn it off.
Well, I don't think this is going to be something that we see a lot. They happen to be in Memphis on Tuesday, which is probably why it happens.
Okay, because I'm afraid that they're going to work Jerry Lawler into this now.
I don't see that happening. I mean, it could happen, but I just think that was because they were in Memphis.
All right. Well, that would make more sense.
So that's why I thought that happened. I just expected more. I almost thought you said Ziggler was on 11, and I thought maybe he got there, but in the beginning, I wasn't getting enough of him.
Okay.
I thought at the beginning it was just Lawler kind of trouncing him and him just kind of taking it, and it took a while for it to get to where it had to go to. It was a little slow paced, in my opinion.
I think Ziggler's at 11. I think Lawler sucks.
I can't hate on Lawler yet, but I mean he's kind of his prime's behind him, obviously.
I'm glad he's not on the announce table anymore.
See, especially with the shape of the announce team right now, I wouldn't mind him there. I'm just being honest with you. I wouldn't mind him or Jim Ross there.
Well, I'd put anybody over Otunga. But
yeah, Otunga and Corey Graves and Byron Saxton. I feel like the King can outdo all three of those guys.
Corey Graves is growing on me. I'm sorry.
Really?
He's starting to.
Well,
he's starting to. I think when he's not trying to be heel Corey Graves or unnecessarily jerkish Corey Graves, and he's maybe someone writing his lines, but he seems pretty quick to me.
Yeah, I'm going to need some time with him still. I want to go back to Raw for a second if I can. I want to just point out, because there was a segment on Raw that made zero sense. It was like illogical. It just wouldn't happen in real life, and it drove me crazy.
All right.
It had to do with the Gallows and Anderson versus Cesaro and Sheamus match. And do you know where I'm going with this?
I think I may.
So at the end of the match, Sheamus nails referee John Cone, I think it was with an elbow or some sort of move. And a second referee comes out, and Gallows and Anderson, I'm sorry, I was going to say they won, but they hold on. Shoot, why? Because it's been so long since I've seen it. Gallows and Anderson won the tag team titles. John Cone comes too, and he's so upset that he's so pissed at Sheamus for hitting him with the elbow that he reverses the decision and says Gallows and Anderson still win, but they win by disqualification. So
yeah, like, I'm so mad at you, I'm going to disqualify you, even though you losing the right way would have given him the titles.
Basically, the message is, I'm so pissed at you, I'm giving you your titles back. Like, that makes no sense. You know, come on, who's writing this garbage? That's awful.
That's bad booking.
It's terrible. Come on now, it's terrible. Another note I have from Raw is that Emelina, at this point, has too much hype for her return.
They've been doing it. They did it like all summer too. It's like it's going on for too long.
And I feel like that it's probably because they had wanted her to return sooner, I think. But we need to remember, at the end of the day, this person who's had videos running on Raw for months on months, it's Emma. The payoff is going to be a somewhat less than adequate female wrestler. Like
unless she's been taking classes.
And all they're focusing on is that she's a model. That's all they're focusing on.
Yeah.
So what are we getting excited for?
She has gotten prettier, it seems.
I agree. Well, they kind of made her dorky in the beginning with the whole this thing, which made no sense. And she was kind of goofy. I think she was with Santino for a minute, and that was just goofy in a word. So yeah, now I think they're trying to make her more of a sex kitten, which works for me, but let's be honest, you have given this so much hype, and it's going to be for Emma.
Just Emma.
It's just Emma. On the same hand, I have a negative note about Titus.
They're all negative about Titus.
Boy, talking is really not Titus's thing.
He shouldn't be on the roster anymore. I want him to go the way of Ryback.
So, I have that note. What else do I want to say?
We should start transcribing him and redoing his bits again.
I like when you kind of do like a dramatic reenactment of Titus's work. We should start doing that.
Start doing that again.
Because remember, there was the one promo that I pointed out for being so bad, but you missed it, and you go back and watched it. And
it was the worst promo of the year of 2016. The biggest flub of the year would go to that promo, I think.
I can't remember what it was about, though. Do you remember?
I don't. Where's Steve?
Steve probably remembers.
Steve will remember.
I can't remember. Oh well. Oh, you know what? It had something to do with. I remember it was on. It had to do with Backlund and Darren Young.
It did, and it was trying to be cute with something, and it just didn't work.
Gotcha. Steve's saying we're having audio problems. Maybe I need to lower this. Steve, let me know if that made things a little bit better, if you don't mind. Thanks for letting me know. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Steve.
I think we were maybe a little hot. So okay, cool.
Coming in at 11 like Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah, we came in like Lawler and Ziggler. Okay. After they replayed the Nia Jax Sasha Banks thing several times on Monday, and eventually they kind of let Nia Jax talk and explain herself. And the only thing I couldn't even hear the words that were coming out of Nia's mouth, because all I could think of, and this may be bad, and I'm sorry, is she really sounds like a transsexual.
Hi, Rob.
I didn't even think about this, but
oh boy, we're back.
Are you back?
Oh, we're back, baby.
Yeah, it's just the voice it's just so manly. So there was that.
Well, there's not a lot of femininity going on there.
No, not really. But she's not like, I don't know. At the same time, she's not like Nicole Bass.
No. Nicole Bass needed a DNA test.
Or even China.
I never thought China was pretty. I think Nia Jax is pretty in the face.
Yeah, exactly. I would agree with that completely. So she's more.
She just has a lot more face than most people.
If you think about it, you could probably think of people there's probably even more wrestlers that she's more feminine than, but I'm having a hard time thinking of any. Either way, that voice though. So
she's a little more feminine than Dolph Ziggler, but just a little.
Just slightly, yeah. You take the pink off of Ziggler, you might get a little more manly.
Right.
What else do we have?
Well, I feel like we have to talk about Raw, the beginning. I mean, all the heavy hitters were out again. I mean, they really have all of their main event guys, their top guys, all kind of squished into this mess of a thing.
While what you're saying is true, I have to be honest, the opening segment and the main event, this was even one of my notes, did nothing for me.
I liked them.
Please.
I enjoy it. I don't know where they're going, which is something that I like. I mean, I'm going to a house show. It's a Raw house show this weekend. And when you look at the top of the card on Raw, and my point to this is you've got Kevin Owens, Chris Jericho, Seth Rollins, you've got Braun Strowman, you've got Roman Reigns, and then you've got Goldberg, and then you've got Brock Lesnar. You take out Goldberg and Brock Lesnar, and those other guys are going to be at the house show. Nobody knows what the main event is, because they could all be the main event. Who fights who? You don't know. There aren't any clear lines as to who's feuding with whom yet, and I feel like the Royal Rumble is going to shake it out.
Well, that's kind of the thing, is that I think the feud is in the Rumble, like the actual match.
Yeah.
So that's kind of okay right now.
But is Kevin Owens in the Royal Rumble? I don't think he is.
No, but there could be some sort of storyline thing involving him, or maybe it's the fact that he's the champion, but everyone else is.
Yeah, everybody else is it, and I'm sure we're going to see Kevin Owens during the Rumble.
I still know who wins the Rumble.
Will you tell me?
No, I'll tell you next week when we do.
Will you just tell me?
No, I'm not going to tell you. I know who's going to win.
You don't know.
I know.
How do you know?
I just know. And I love that I haven't read anything. This is all my own brainchild. But when I sat down, I've got the pieces to the puzzle, and I put all the pieces in front of me. There's only one piece that makes sense.
And I can't even. The one thing I think I'm sure of, and maybe we'll get a good old WWE swerve, because they're walking us down this path. I feel like the winner of the Royal Rumble is coming from Raw brand.
Okay, I won't confirm or deny that, as I know the answer.
You don't know the answer.
It could. I mean, only half the guy. I mean, it could be SmackDown guy.
I wonder if we're going to have the same pick.
I know who it is. So I'll tell you next. I'll tell you next
You
week.
looked like you were on the phone with Triple H last night, and he got drunk and told you.
I wasn't on the phone with Triple H, but I have all the pieces, and every once in a while, I just have epiphanies, and things just all make sense.
Well, I'll tell you this. You're very confident about your Royal Rumble pick, but I have an advantage over you when we pick this pay-per-view. I have an advantage.
What's your advantage?
I'm going to see endings that they're working on for the Royal Rumble because I'm going to a house show. And they're always working stuff dark. And they're always ironing stuff out.
Well, maybe you do. But, okay. I mean, listen, I mean, I don't know anything. I got the only answer that seems to make sense. I got the only answer.
I'm going to win. I've been on a 3-week schneid and I'm sick of it.
I almost wonder if like the Royal Rumble should be worth more when we do predictions because there's 30 possible outcomes, if not more.
I'm getting cranked up to 11. Come on.
What's going on?
I'm getting cranked up. I'm ready to pick the matches now. Let's just start throwing them at each other and see what happens.
If I asked you for a prediction now, do you have the Rumble winner?
No.
So then think about it for a week.
I thought I had it 2 weeks ago. Then I just changed it.
Yeah, that's the thing is I've been flip-flopping up until this past week, up until really Monday. Up until Monday, I had the epiphany. And I
have it narrowed down to 8 guys. I do.
Okay, well, figure it out, and you got a week to think about it. Make it be like if you got 1 week, to make it be like a Royal Rumble. Toss one guy every day.
But it affects absolutely everything. Because the winner is dependent on who wins the championship matches and who wins throughout that card. And then there's an elimination chamber match for the SmackDown for the WWE title.
See, that's what sucks because that could change everything too, and I hate that.
Yeah, it's. I want it to be Rumble winner versus the champion we have at the Rumble, but it won't be. So they can switch it around. Yeah, they can switch it around.
I think statistically, it's pretty rare that they change it that much between WrestleMania and Royal Rumble.
If they were ever going to change it, it would have been last year.
Yeah, and they didn't. I had a point, and I forget it now. What you said something. Shoot. Well, I mean, here's what I wanted to say was that because you got excited to start taking your shirt off. The Rumble this year, I can't think of a Rumble I've ever been more excited for. Not only do I have no idea who's going to win the thing, well, I mean, I know who's going to win the thing, but most people have no idea who's going to win. So I have no idea who's going to win the Rumble. And it does affect so much and show like what their intentions are regarding WrestleMania. But like, I mean, so now you've got people talking about maybe NXT people debuting. You've got people talking about maybe Kenny Omega debuting. You've got the potential of a Kurt Angle return for real during the Royal Rumble. Like, there are so many things that I'm on pins and needles about regarding next Sunday.
But here's my question. If we don't see Nakamura or Samoa Joe or Kurt Angle, if we just do the Rumble and the Rumble goes without any big surprise, will you be disappointed?
It depends on its execution. There's ways that I could be and there's ways that I might not be.
I'm just trying to think for the life of me how they're gonna monkey with Jericho in that cage. I feel like he's getting out of that cage somehow.
It very well could. It's very possible. It's very possible.
It'll be a sexy pinata. That's still one of my favorite lines.
That is good. That's what I've got from Raw. I have 2 more notes from SmackDown that we haven't talked about yet. The Miz's mic work is still improving every time he talks. I love when he gets a mic, and I feel like his promos are becoming, if I use the word pipe bomb, you guys know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
They're becoming pipe bomb-like. Kind of like when CM Punk will get a mic, you didn't exactly know if he was going to be real or worked or shoot or if he's going to really offend somebody or what. Miz he's not quite at CM Punk's level of the pipe bomb yet, but he's like on his way. I feel like
it all started with the Renee Young bomb.
It started with Daniel Bryan last year.
Oh yes, it did.
and then it's only been getting better and better. The Renee Young one was great. He had one on well, it was it Cena this week?
Yep. Yeah.
And I'm missing one in there, maybe on Ziggler or someone late 15. But he's just great. I mean, we need someone.
I guess you're right. It all started on SmackDown or Talking Smack, didn't it?
Yeah, it was Daniel Bryan. That's when the borderline real stuff started happening. That
was good, and that's when his popularity started going crazy.
Absolutely. So go ahead.
No, I love the Miz, and I like that they worked him into the main event.
We've lost your video, by the way.
That's because someone's calling me right now, but once that stops, then I'll be back.
That's why I've got you on the hard line, though. That's why I do it like this, because you sound perfect, but the video is locked on me because you're going.
Yeah, someone's calling me right now. That's why I got a little distracted for a second. No, what I'm saying is I really enjoy that he it seems like working him in with AJ Styles and Cena, they're kind of introducing him to the main event fold.
Was it Kelly calling you?
It was not. It was my boss, so I can't wait to see what this is about.
Well, we should be done here in a few minutes. So the last thing I wanted to point out from SmackDown, I knew the whole time when La Luchadora became a recurring character. So the second week we saw La Luchadora, I knew without any shadow of a doubt it was going to reveal Mickie James ultimately. And
I didn't know that, and I thought it was cool. I interviewed her once. She was in the studio, and I always liked Mickie James.
I'm sorry. I mean, I don't know because I'm sorry to hear that because that's cool, but she's not one of my favorites.
I've read a lot of people didn't like her, and she wasn't liked in the locker room, and the whole Cena thing with her, and so I get it. I just have like a memory of her that I enjoyed. So seeing her on TV was pretty cool.
Like I had that about Titus. Like Titus called my show one time and spoke to us for like 15 minutes, and I hate to say it, but he's floundering. I wish I could be like Titus is doing great. Like New Day's been on the show, and they're killing it. You know, that's been genuine. But then Titus is just like, I want to say nice things, but
Who's the best wrestler you ever interviewed, and your favorite wrestler you ever interviewed?
The answer to both might be Christian. Christian was SmackDown champ, I think, when we interviewed him, and he spent so much time with us. He was there for like an hour. I remember one thing meant a lot to me. After the interview, when we were actually we were doing like a meet and greet backstage, the agent who was with Christian kind of pulled me aside and he says, "So I'll let you know, Christian had a really good time with you guys this morning."
That's awesome.
And that made me feel good. You and I interviewed Batista at like the height of right before he won the title. That was awesome.
That would probably be my favorite. Batista was my favorite, but it's not the biggest only because I interviewed Triple H once.
When was that?
But it wasn't my show. Chris and Jim did it. The Chris and Jim show interviewed Triple H, but they let me do. It was one of the first times they let me take lead because they didn't know what the hell they were talking about, and I did.
What year?
I don't know. Chris and Jim here. You'd be better at that than me.
Well,
it probably
it was before
2001 to 2003, in that range.
Oh man, that's cool. It was before 2004, I can tell you that.
Yeah, it was before you got there, but I started in 2001, so it's somewhere in that window.
Do you know, like, was he in Evolution? Was he, do you know anything about what was going on?
I think he was just doing his thing.
Okay, gotcha. That's huge. Kofi's been on 3 or 4 times on my show.
I enjoyed interviewing Jeff Hardy. I thought he was in the studio. He was good, surprisingly, because I thought he'd be all drugged out, but he was fine.
I had John Morrison and Chavo Guerrero separately. Oh, and then together I had, was it Dutch Mantel, Brian Christopher Lawler, Bushwhacker Butch, and I can't think of the other one. Oh, JC Ice from PG-13, all on one show for like a Legends show. They were all in the studio one time.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so it's kind of fun.
I'm trying to get Diamond Dallas Page because he's coming to an independent show not far from here. So
that'd be great.
I wouldn't mind talking to him.
Yeah.
I do his yoga, so I'd like to talk to him.
Do you?
I do a little bit. I'm trying to get more flexible because I can't kick anybody above their hips.
Yeah. Okay.
And I want to be able to kick people in the chest and the face.
But you can give a diamond cutter out of nowhere, can't you? And on that note, unless there's anything I'm missing, Jared, I'm going to sign off.
We're good.
I hope you're not in trouble.
We'll see.
At least it was your boss and not the wife.
Well, either one of them. Well, she'll get a DDT, but he'll get one of these.
If Kelly ruined another podcast, you would have divorced her.
Oh! Do you remember that time I wanted to give her a DDT when I was visiting you?
I do remember that time, and I will let you know our mics are still on.
I didn't give her one.